One day he did something in my kitchen I'm not going to mention. Turn around, look at his hand. Where's that boy? He's awful quiet. And you know, when a child gets quiet, he's usually doing something he shouldn't be doing. So I go looking for him. He'd already done something he shouldn't have done. Then as a fat boy, you know your pantry's pretty well stocked. This boy somehow gets into my Pringles. He's got them all over the place. He's going after the biter man. The miter man. Spider-Man for him. It's the Pringles with the little things on them. He'd eat everyone but the Spider-Man ones. He just crushed them up. So I went to work. Next day, came home. He done found another box of my Pringles. My wife was like, look at the floor. Oops. He didn't have them grounded in the floor so well. The vacuum cleaner couldn't get them out. But I still love the kid, but when he knows he does something wrong, he goes and he hides. He's ashamed of it. It says right there, even a child knows by his deeds whether what he's done does is pure and right. You guys would agree with that, right? Let's move on. Let's go to the book of Galatians. And let's look at chapter 6, verses 3 through 4. Galatians 6, 3 through 4 says, for if anyone thinks of himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceives himself. But let each one examine his own works, and then he will have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another. Have you guys ever done your best on something? One of my worst things in school was school. It was not my strong suit. I had many other things I liked to do. School was not one of them. But I chose to do school my last year. I see how easy and fun it can be. But when I did my best on a test, when I did my best in a class, guess what? It showed, number one. When I got to carry a little piece of paper home with my daddy and say, look what I did. It made me feel good. You guys ever done something really well? That when you finish with it, you're like, look at it, it's done. Mr. Jeff, a couple months ago, was putting up a shed. I came over there and know nothing about it. But I'm sure when he got it all finished, he stepped back and looked and said, thank goodness it's finished. Look what I've done. Right? Yes. But we as humans look for flaws in everything. There's a story of an egg checker. He inspects eggs as they go through on a belt. And what he's looking for is any flaw inside the egg, anything that should not be in a regular egg that you eat. So as it passes the light, he's looking for flaws. And that's his job. He got pretty good at it, but there was only one thing that happened. After the years of him doing this, he started looking for the flaws in everything. Looking at people. Hey, anything with children. Looking at buildings. Get the lights out. But we as humans, that's our nature. Try to find the flaws in everything. Correct? We're too worried about the problems in everybody else's lives instead of the problems in our own. Too worried about the speck in your eye, you're plank in my own. Guys, whatever we do, we don't need to do it looking for something in return. Such as next Saturday, we're having a cleanup day. It's very easy to come out here and clean up. To say, you know what, we'll get recognized on Sunday morning for cleaning up. But then when you don't, you get mad. You should not do it for that reason. Many things we do for recognition that we shouldn't. But we know we need to follow Christ. Many a times, guys, I've seen people say something. Many times I've seen people do something to one person. And in that person's eyes, they've now ruined whatever ministry they've had for them. Because you guys have heard this before. Hey, if that's what the Christian's about, I don't want to be a part of it. I was watching a show on TV a couple nights ago. It comes on Wednesday nights. It's called Kid Nation. You guys ever seen it? On this particular episode, they were talking about religion. What it is, they put 40 kids in the middle of this desert with no rules to say, make it work. The subject came up about religion. I was amazed and astonished, guys, to have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13-year-old kids saying, we don't need no religion. We don't want no Christianity. Because of Christianity, wars are happening in this world and people are dying. We want nothing to do with it. Let alone, we've seen people who are supposed to be Christians and obviously they're worse off than me. Goes back to thinking before we talk, thinking before we act. Let's go to 1 John. Chapter 3, verses 16 through 18. It says, by this we know love, because he laid down his life for us. And we also ought to lay down our lives for the brother. But whoever has the world's goods, and sees his brother's needs, and shuts up his heart, and shuts up his heart from him, how does he love? How does the love of God abide in him? Verse 18, my little children, let us not love in word or in tongue, but in deed and truth. Guys, it says right here, very simple. If you know somebody in need, and we decide not to help them, we have the ability to help them, okay? And we decide not to, how does it show the love of Christ? There's something coming up here in a few weeks, a fall harvest campaign. I'm able to walk, as you can see. I might fall over a lot, kind of like a weeble wobble. But I'm able to walk, I'm able to talk. So my oversized self will be out there on the streets walking in out little packets, trying to get someone to know who God is. Truly, not their take on who he is. I've said it before. I've been to Mexico with a guy who I've talked to who knew of a guy named Jesus. Well, not his brother Jesus. We're talking about God. Jesus Christ. Only thing he knew about him was that he thought he saw a movie of some guy hanging on a cross. Didn't know why. He saw a movie. Guys, there's people in this world who know Christ but don't know truly of him. Let's move on. DC Talk once said, I'm going to quote this from them, the greatest cause of atheism today are Christians who claim God by their mouth and walk out the door and deny him by their lifestyles. This is what a simply unbelieving world finds unbelievable.